Hey there, folks. Welcome back. You're still with us here on the C Morning Show, only on C today. Kai, I know you've just went through childbirth, but you've already discussed traveling, and I don't know if you have the same habits as I do and several of our colleagues or friends, but we used to go to the Garuda travel fair. Every year. That was an annual fair.
And even I used to look at all the international flights.
Right.
Because, you know, I have family and friends abroad, and every year we would, you know, fly over, and I'm looking forward to being able to do that again.
You would normally, in fact, we would normally just go there and plan our trips around what the fair has to offer instead of breaking our trips first.
But luckily, I know that certain destinations are always available. Used to. Now I'm looking forward to know more.
Well, right now there's a Garuda online travel fair which had just opened yesterday. It will take place all the way through April the 10th. There will be many routes offered, of course, discounts as well, something we're always looking forward to.
Yep, every year. That's good news as well, because since we've mentioned Garuda Indonesia, you've seen that we will have a special talk with the CEO of Garuda Indonesia, Bapak Irfan Setiaputra, who's with us right now.
Good morning, Pak.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us.
You know, just straight away, we've had a rough 2 years. I mean, everybody's going through, all businesses and industries have been affected in the past 2 years. And, you know, Garuda itself has been through a few, you know, perhaps ups and downs as well, leading up to the countdown of cutting down of several destinations. Now, how does it affect the company, and will this cutback, do you think, help resolve financial situations in Garuda?
Yeah, thank you. The uniqueness of this industry is basically that our revenue is variable. So people like you fly sometimes you don't travel. But our cost is mostly fixed cost.
Constant.
So when the pandemic happens and the COVID happens and the decrease of the travel is happen up to minus 90%.
Wow.
Yeah. Why minus 90%? Because basically mobilization is being avoided by everybody. So and mobilization is the fundamental of this industry. So if everybody avoid mobilization, then rest assured it's impacting any airlines in the world. So when the decrease of 90% did not happen, we are unable to speed up the decrease of the cost at the same level. So that's the situation, and we do lots of things over the years, over the 2 years, to cut lots of expense, including asking majority of our employee to take early pensions. So the fact is that it makes us today still alive. Means that the cuts has been successful. At the same time, we are also asking many of our vendors, especially the lessors who rent to us the airplane, to also cut the leasing rate. So this impacting until today, and by the situation that happens today with the relaxations of the traveling, it actually helps us a lot. It actually helps us a lot. And we do believe that traveling is needed by everybody. And the last 2 years, where the government or the situation asks you not to travel, I think it's going to be a new hype on the traveling.
Yeah, and I think we're actually seeing that now. Not only are other countries around the world, including Indonesia as well, but local restrictions have been eased a lot. How is this going to affect Garuda Indonesia in the short term and long term?
Well, it's very positive. It's very positive. We actually participate in every policy making of this traveling. We are giving lots of feedback to the government. And we are telling the government that we are ready if you are doing some relaxations. So I think it's been agreed by everybody that it's time for us, for Indonesians to maybe start forgetting this pandemic things.
Yes.
Gladly.
And start living with the new things. And by relaxation by the government of this COVID testing. But still expecting that everybody can only fly if you are vaccinated.
That's right.
What does it mean? It means that most of the people who are going to fly is at the position of ready and healthy. But it doesn't mean if you have some issues, you are still expected to travel. So by having this new regulation by the government that only vaccinated people can travel, it means that everybody should care about themselves.
Yes.
But also should care about the other people.
Exactly.
So if you feel not well, call Garuda if you fly with Garuda. Call Garuda, ask Garuda to reschedule your flight because it's not going to be good for you and it's not going to be good for the others if you're pushing yourself and keep traveling. Yeah. So this is very positive. We see a huge impact, around 20 to 30% increase.
Great.
Directly after Pak Luhut mentioned there's no COVID test anymore. It's
So booking flights.
booking flights is up, and we are seeing problem these days that people do not have seat.
Right.
Yeah, we were just going to say, you know, I hate being the bearer of really tough questions, but a lot of things also have changed. Hopefully, with the amount of more people and you know, demand more seats. Could be a bit more balanced, but this is also like a recent, how do you say, concern for everybody around the world because the prices of oil surged recently. And how do you think is this also going to affect how people book and, you know, the business in day-to-day general?
Well, oil is part of one of the biggest costs here. No high. So any increase, any decrease will impact our performance, financial performance. Yeah. But the government of Indonesia have a very unique regulation relating to oil price increase. Yeah. So we are now in the discussion with the regulators on the possibility to together look at that issues, yeah, and also together socialize it to the people. That the fact is the fact. This oil price increase for sure has to impact on our ticket also.
Ticket sales prices, right.
But I know it's hurting lots of people.
Sure.
I know it's hurting lots of people. So I think the most important thing is to have clarity, number one. Number two is to socialize more and more and more and more because we all today impacted by this oil price everywhere. Yeah.
On the way to work?
On the way to work is also, the Gojek thing is also increasing.
Exactly.
Right.
And so on. But you have to understand also if we are not increasing the ticket price, then it's going to impact us, our financial performance. So it should be, it's still in the discussion with the government. And once it agrees, then we for sure will socialize this properly. Yeah. I know at the end of the day it will hurt the public, but I believe people will understand.
Yeah, I don't think it will come much of a surprise to any ticket prices going up or fuel prices going up when you're filling up your automobiles or anything. However, one thing that has come as a nice surprise this year is that folks will be finally, in the first 2 years, or as long as 2 years, will be able to attend homecoming. Now, a lot of people actually are traveling cross-country or in various cities for homecoming. How is this going to affect Garuda Indonesia?
This normally, before pandemic, this is also one of what we always say, the peak time in the year.
Right.
Yeah.
This homecoming festival. And I used to do that, these homecoming things, yeah. And I do believe this is one of the most enjoyable moments for lots of people. Yeah. Meeting families, friends, especially after 2 years. You never met. Yeah. So we'll make sure that we are providing more and more seats to specific destination in Indonesia to support this homecoming. And what we are thinking is maybe do some special things this time. Yeah. Because the fact is, normally on every homecoming, we have ability to surcharge.
Right.
So some increment of the ticket price. But we do know that the flight back will be empty.
Okay, because they're all going in one direction.
Because everybody's going on one direction. So we have a very interesting experience several weeks ago regarding Mandalika. Yeah.
Okay.
So when we bring people to Lombok to watch Mandalika race, MotoGP, we actually treat them like Hajj passengers. Yeah.
Like pilgrim, yeah, okay.
So we fly full and then back empty, and then fly back empty, fly back full. Yeah. So we are thinking about making some program for this homecoming. So before Hari Raya, when you fly to certain destinations, maybe the price is a little bit increased. Yeah. But when you fly back at that time, before Hari Raya, for instance, from Padang to Jakarta, maybe we'll give discount.
Discounted fee, wow.
Yeah.
That makes sense. A bit of an incentive then.
Incentive.
We do expect by doing this, people will then shift the traveling mode.
Right.
So not everybody at the same time. Yeah.
Right. Actually, there could be a nice side effect to that in the matter of you won't be, jamming up the airports.
That's right.
The lineups will be as long, or perhaps transmissibility of any kind of COVID-19 will be reduced because of that as well.
And we never know that there will be maybe Jakarta people staying in Padang.
Right.
Oh, maybe.
They'll do homecoming. Maybe this is going to be beneficial for
The
them.
opposite way. I have a brother-in-law actually that worked out in Padang for the last several years. That actually does his homecoming the opposite way.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
Wow.
So, let's see.
It does happen.
We're still figuring out internally, and hopefully I can give deeper discount for people flying back from certain area just before the Hari Raya. Yeah.
Nice.
Well, I've also an interesting question is that perhaps now that borders are also starting to open up, a lot of migrant workers and Indonesian migrant workers have been unfortunately stuck in certain countries, and now the borders are, opening up again. What about the international flights? I understand to certain regions and certain hubs, Garuda still flies, during the pandemic still. Like, for instance, my parents flew back from Sydney from Australia to Indonesia, and also during the pandemic they moved back, and that was very limited amounts of flight. Like usually Sydney to Jakarta would be a lot of flights, at least I think 1 or 2 during the day, or at least a couple of days a week. And will that start picking up again? Do you have any, because we know that migrant workers certainly can come home homecoming season.
Yeah, we are seeing it getting better and better because major countries are opening the borders, including Indonesia. Yeah. But as you may know, as you mentioned also, Garuda never stopped flying international during the pandemic. You know why? Because we are national flag carrier.
That's right.
Yeah. Because it's our obligation to bring, for instance, Australian back to Australia.
Yep.
But it's our mandate to bring Indonesian from Australia back to Indonesia. Yeah.
That's right.
The problem is we are decreasing the frequency very deep. Yeah. So most of the city we are flying only once a week. Yeah.
Right.
But that's okay. That's okay. And people like it. People love it. Yeah. So today we are seeing that the increment on the passenger is getting far more better. Previously, for instance, flying to Sydney, it's only 25 people, 30 people. Now become 150, 170 people in every flight. Yeah. So that's happening, and from time to time we are going to increase that flight.
Yeah.
And we are opening also. Actually, not opening. Yeah. So it's used to be there's a flight on that route which is to Denpasar.
Oh, right. That's the one that I would frequent the most.
Yeah.
So now we have Narita, Denpasar, we have Sydney, Denpasar. We are seeing about the possibility of Singapore, Denpasar.
Great.
Because I think it's also our obligation to help the Bali people
Tourism.
to invite and speed up the tourists here coming into Indonesia. And tourists will only come to Bali, not to Jakarta. Yeah.
Too much traffic here.
So let's focus on Denpasar for the tourists and business for Jakarta.
Sure. Now, Pak Irfan, there's been word of a collaboration between Garuda Indonesia and Emirates Airlines. Can you tell us a little bit more about it and how it will affect the end users like us?
Well, in this airline business, we call it code share. Yeah?
Yep.
Code share means that Garuda passengers or Garuda customer like you can order flight. If you go to our website, it's basically in our website is also included Emirates flights. Yeah?
Okay.
So for instance, you want to go to Madrid, then you can choose Jakarta, Dubai, Madrid, and the flight code is Garuda. But it's actually Emirates.
You'll be connected
via
it's
from
actually
Dubai
Emirates,
to Madrid.
From Dubai to Madrid and from Jakarta to Dubai also. We don't have to fly from Jakarta to Dubai.
I've actually experienced that before because I know that government institutions must fly with national carriers and using your network. And I think it was amazing because it expands your network to further. And it was a certain traveling I think itinerary that was from Jakarta to Morocco. And it's all Garuda coded, but it's actually not on Garuda. From a certain point, it was not the air carrier, but it's still Garuda code.
All right, Irfan, hold tight. We are going to take one short break, but we've got plenty more questions to ask you when we return, though. Stay with us here on the Sea Morning Show. We'll be right back with more from Irfan from Garuda, Indonesia.